Hi, welcome to the latest episode of Why Should I? I'm your host, Scott Kitchener, and today we've got a guest here and we're going to talk about D&D. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jack. I'm going to be my real self for this podcast. But yeah, I enjoy. I'm really glad to be here, Scott. I'm glad to be part of this really prestigious show. I've seen all the many hundreds of episodes you've put out. It's what helps. They're all quite short. Having a podcast be so short and so succinct is a great way to have it be successful.
Yes. As the name of the show is Why Should I? Why should I do something? And the something in question today is Dungeons and Dragons. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, you run your own podcast on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I've run several. Right now there's not one ongoing. I've played a lot of the game. I've done campaigns that have spanned years. I've played in other people's games a lot. I've been part of other people's podcasts, not just for D&D, but for other TTRPGs of its kind. And that's one of the important things I wanted to bring up immediately, is that D&D is not the only one. Mm-hmm. D&D is the most popular. D&D is the biggest and with the most fans, but it's far from the only one. There's TTRPGs in every subject you can think of, from high fantasy dragons to two people meeting in a coffee shop for the first time, where there's a dice rolled every now and then or a card drawn from a deck. The purpose of these games is just to tell stories, and if you like telling stories, there's bound to be one of these games for you.
So, what is Dungeons and Dragons?
Essentially, it is a collaborative storytelling game where the players make decisions, and the outcomes of those decisions are determined by rolling a dice. In the case of D&D, that might be you're in a fight with a goblin, and you decide to swing your sword at it in hopes of chopping off its head. But you can't just chop off its head, you've got to roll a dice, and if it hits the number that, the game master decides, the person who's running the game, who's in charge of the game, who's playing all the monsters, so they'll give you a number. If you hit that number, then you'll get what you want. Otherwise, something bad might happen, or something completely different might happen. And really, it's about telling a story together, improvising it, and seeing where things go. And it's just a great exercise in collaborative storytelling. And I would recommend everyone try it, not just you.
But what is the point of it?
So the point really is to spend time with people. There's this, there's a few ideas about it. A lot of people have these misconceptions about what the game is. They either assume it's very close to a video game, which, depending on who's running it, it can be, but that's really not what it's about. It's not about all the stats and all the dice rolling and all the trying to kill monsters all the time. That's part of it. That's a small part of it, but that's not it. And the other misconception is that it's just for nerds who've got no friends, which is a paradox in itself, because to play these games, to even start out in these games, you need a group of friends. You need people that you can trust. You need people that you can work with regularly and that you can improvise with and have fun with, and that have similar ideas to you. And the other way I think about it, me and your host here, Scott, we work together on a film course, and playing a TTRPG is not that dissimilar from making a film, and you have your director, your GM, your game master, who is leading the show, telling everyone else what to do, what's happening, and the rest of the players you could consider your cast. You could consider them your crew.
You answered my last question before I even got to.
Yeah. That's the nature of
it.
Of conversational podcast. Is that things get stuck into it.
Get stuck into it, like.
Yeah, and I would say that anyone likes to tell stories in any way, shape, or form, or just likes to watch stories in a film or read books or anything like that, should try a game like D&D. Not necessarily D&D, because there's hundreds out there. It's called Cthulhu, where you're playing through events in the Cthulhu mythos, fighting eldritch beasts and discovering mysteries.
That's what I might try.
It's a great game, and
it's piqued my interest.
And there's Thirsty Sword Lesbians, where you play
that one now, actually.
Where you play a chaotic group of aliens trying to survive in a prejudiced imperial space world.
And you're all lesbians.
Yeah, and you're all lesbians in some way or form. It's I think one of the only rules for your character is they've got to be queer in some way.
Right.
And the 30 Sword Lesbians is like a great catchy title. Everyone's queer and everyone's got a sword, and that's 30 Sword Lesbians. And yeah, so I'd say in TTRPG there's something for everyone. And if you dismiss it outright, that's like you saying you like nothing. You have nothing you like. You hate spending time with people. You hate your friends.
You have no taste.
You have no taste. You don't like stories. You don't like, you don't enjoy portraying a character. You don't enjoy your friends having fun. It might just be that you've got a bad impression. It might just be that you've never experienced it in a way that is fulfilling with someone who knows what they're doing and isn't just looking at a rule book and then saying,
"Oh, and now, because you are a dwarf and you have the level 3 chainmail, you're dead because my dragon killed you."
Congrats, that's the last 3 years done, everyone. Go home. And that's really what it is for me. It's about teaching people that it's not that dry. It's not that boring. It's, if you like things, if you like people, you will like TTRPG.
Well, I'd say you've definitely convinced me on it. I'd recommend everyone play it for the love of stories in general.
Yeah, well, I'll get you in a Thirsty Sword Lesbians game.
Oh, can't wait.